It might help if I put myself in. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and welcome to Morning Brew. I do want to say hello to Gap After Dark, Carlo Albanese, Cody Guy, LDG, which I'm not sure what's wrong, but let me know. And let's see here. Burger 45, Kapla. And Captain MKG, I was looking for you to stream this morning. I kept watching. And ah, decent attempt at blues, C minus. See, that's the thing. I wanted a coffee shop feel. I wanted it kind of not bluesy, but kind of upbeat. And yeah, trust me, I listened to about 50 song clips before picking this one. So yeah, it was quite tedious. Just put it that way. So at least the process was appreciated. Thank you. Ah, darn games, always something going on. Not sure what it is. Since what's new this year? Not too much really. Um, I decided to have a stream this morning because yeah, what the hell? Actually, I decided it last night. I let um, I can't think of his name now. Gorilla's random thoughts. No, in his chat. Um, I would have put a link in, but I'm not a mod over on his channel, so I couldn't put the link in. But I could let him know about it, and hopefully he'll be in the chat sometime later. No, he won't be able to talk much because he's working. So oh, coffee shop feel, try bongos and a beatnik. Doing some weird poetry. Yeah, I wanted to go kind of for a coffee shop feel, not exactly that coffee shop. Just I picked something which I wouldn't mind hearing. When I get sick of it, then it'll be out the door. But until then, because that last one I had, I still kind of liked it, but even I was getting tired of it. So it's like, C minus, does that mean Krogan minor? Ooh, that actually could. Carlos says work never ends. Eagle Rider, good morning. Who says, Cap, I got fully monetized doing my first stream for it and a late birthday party tonight. Ah, cool. Sounds awesome. I'll try to be there. go ahead and schedule it if you haven't. That way I can find it. And yes, congratulations. Oh, I hate getting error codes. Error codes are a pain in the ass. Get caught up in the chat. And good morning, Ricky MW. WM, excuse me. My brain is gone. Eagle Rider, I can honestly answer that question as no, he won't. The only way he's going to stop is when he is finally fully suspended and can't go on again. And good morning, Resolute Germ. By the way, Rosetta, how was your birthday? I know it was the 29th. Forgot to send anything to you, but hopefully you had a happy birthday. Okay, it's on the channel. That's good. I'll look for it. Let me get caught up real quick. Watching a video. And good morning, Mexican Iron Man. How is life on the left coast? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that your birthday sucked. That's not good. That is not good. Will it include diversity? Absolutely. Absolutely. We will have diversity of thought, diversity of opinion, diversity of panelists. Anytime you want to come up, Mike, you let me know. Speaking of which, since I'm just about caught up in the chat, go ahead and put in the link. And I might want to actually send out the. Let me go ahead and pin that. I didn't share the stream out, which I try to always do, but sometimes fail at it. At least this time I went ahead and sent it out on Facebook. All right, got that done, and we got somebody backstage. Captain MKG. So where the hell were you at this morning?
I'm on holiday right now. Plus, I also had to go and grab myself some coffee this morning because garbage disposal is not working. So any water that goes through my sink, it doesn't go through the pipes. So, yeah, I need to have maintenance come and snake my drains out before I can make coffee on my own. So I had to go and get coffee, but yeah, no, today's a holiday for me. Hey, Gap.
Hey, Mike. Arriba, underlay, rabbit chicken 2023.
Yeah, I looked at. Yes, I did look to see who it was. I looked at the name. Go. Okay, I got to check this one.
Albino.
Yes.
I do actually have a form of it. It's not as intense as some, but yeah.
Okay, we remember you.
Hi.
Hi. Hey, Captain Marketing.
I'm just being a little snarky today.
You're allowed to.
I
Hey.
usually am. I mean,
Yeah, so there's nothing wrong with that.
and I don't fucking care that I'm in bed still either because it's early and I'm tired and it's snowing.
And I'm jealous. So
Now remember, Rosetta, when you're on your channel, you can't use that language.
Yes, you can. You
You're
just gotta wait.
monetized.
You gotta wait for the first few minutes so they're not scanning it as closely.
I think Loki said
Because I
6.
know a lot of people who swear like hell on the monetized streams, but they wait for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Loki said the first 16 minutes.
Yeah.
It's
But
not.
I can't believe I actually got monetized that easily with the shit I say on my channel, and my channel aren't even. As near as I can figure it is they probably looked at all the animal videos and saw the native styled artwork and went, let's just add a token.
Yeah.
Because
Hey.
I could monetize like freaky fast. Steve finished the application for it, and I checked my messages on my YouTube studio on my phone the next day, and it said I was.
Cool.
It's like, the fuck? I thought they were gonna like be reviewing like 20,000 things, especially since I've had past strikes that just barely fell off and shit. You know?
The strikes don't matter. If you're not
Well,
for
if the strike is-
elections or COVID, you're basically fast tracked.
That it was about that though. I got struck as medical misinformation for my disability talks on what I go through.
Yep.
And literally, if they're
believe
still
I-
active strikes, they're automatically you're not going to get monetized. It was literally they just fell off like a month ago. So I was surprised they didn't at least even review that.
The
Yeah.
system doesn't know the difference. It falls off. It falls off.
Yeah, but I do think there are some reviewers because I think there's some people they're intentionally delaying approval on.
Yeah, those are manually stopped. You probably didn't even have a human involved, which is beneficial.
Probably with my mouth.
But your channel is fun, Rosetta.
I've seen a lot nicer channels have a lot more trouble getting it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I literally
I've
was sitting
seen
there
some
expecting
channels
it to take. I expected it to take months or to get rejected, literally. And,
Yeah.
and so I looked at it with what the crap, and I showed Steve, and he's like, "Cool." What? It was fucking unreal. None of us believed it. You know.
I hope to know one day.
Hey, you know what? I'm up to 418, I think.
I was at right around the time my husband had his birthday at the end of November. I was around 940 to 950 in subs.
Mm-hmm.
I am right now at 1230 something.
I just checked your numbers, so yes.
Wow, that's nice.
So I've actually been going up pretty good. Now I have been actually putting out a lot of stuff on my photography work, on clips of the animals and stuff I'm out working with, things of like elk and bighorn sheep and stuff like that out in the wild and stuff, and that stuff gets views.
Hmm.
Oh,
As
yeah.
long as the algorithm picks them up, they get views. It's like I post all these videos like that. I just drop several every day, and about 2/3 of them will get between like 800 to 8,000 views, and every so often one just doesn't get picked up.
Do
Yeah.
you drop your videos at this or stuff at the same time?
I kind of just do it through the day. Sometimes I'll drop 2 or 3 at once, but it's kind of when I feel like it and the video inspires me.
Yeah, so because I mean, I don't know if this is true, but people are like, you need to drop your video, in the afternoon, early evening. But that's not true because I dropped.
I've had no rhyme or reason. I
Yeah.
will drop between like 3 to 10 shorts a day right now, and it doesn't matter how many I drop. It doesn't matter what time of day I drop them. If I drop them separately or together, it's completely random which ones pick up in the algorithm and which ones don't. So it doesn't make any difference no matter when I do it. Most of them get picked up and a few get missed.
Yeah.
It's completely random.
Okay.
And now for something completely random.
Oh, we're all fucked. I mean, hi.
Random NB. Hey, NB.
And to be fair to everybody here, I mean, me and MB have made peace with each other. He's actually been on my channel again. Just saying.
Okay.
Yeah, there's right now no issues.
Yeah, because I think most everyone in Cap's chat knows we weren't getting along a while.
Captain Market.
No, I'm just saying, I'd like to keep it that way.
Let's keep this on the screen.
Why don't I have such a nice bitch switch when it's flipped?
Well, I mean, well, wait till we look at his red noise. My son would love that.
Christmas present.
Now, for anybody out there who did not know what happened, but I know Cap was there, so Freedom Nerd was.
I don't think we need to go into that.
Yeah.
I deserved it. I totally take ownership of that.
Well, that goes without saying.
You always deserve it, NB. I mean,
it only took a minute. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I mean,
I finally got that error code down that I was trying to get. It seemed like every time that error code pop up, I wouldn't have time to write it down before it disappeared on me.
Oh yeah, that's annoying. When they auto remove the codes when they tell you one, because then you don't have time to figure out what it is before it's gone.
Yeah, I had to go through and do it like 5 times, and I've done a reboot, I've done a restart. I went to another main mission and finished that, and then went back to this, kind of maybe seeing if it would break it. And then finally I was able to, after several attempts, to write the code down because I couldn't get my phone to work to take the picture worth of shit. But so hopefully I'll get that done. Everybody have a good New Year. Captain Freedom Nerd, MKMG, Gap, Resolute, Albino.
I did. I fell asleep before midnight. No alcohol, no nothing.
Ooh.
No drama.
Just another Saturday night.
Yeah.
Question?
That's why, by the way, I'm messing with devices here, is I will mute this a lot when I think people are talking about a certain day. I hate that holiday so much.
I was asleep by 8 p.m. I was going to stop on somebody's panel around 8 p.m., but we were talking at 5, and then by like 7 o'clock, I was just like, I couldn't even keep my eyes open. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to make it.
I think I was up till about 3 Mountain Time.
Okay. Put aside my personal issues with it and my post-traumatic reactions to the holiday. I've never, even before all that crap happened to me, understood celebrating the calendar change. I've never understood that concept. It's a fucking day like any other where you're going from one to the next.
Well,
I'll be honest for me. I've had people ask me if I watch the ball drop anymore, and I say no.
You're probably watching them drop all the time.
I was watching the ball drop as a kid for one reason only, and that was Dick Clark.
You missed that one, NB.
Nah, I must have missed something there. My bad.
I said you've been watching them drop for a long time.
Oh my God.
Leave it to Rosetta.
Yeah, I agree with you, Rosetta. I mean, it's just another day, and people who make New Year's resolutions, it's just to psych themselves up. You know,
well, I kind of understand the resolutions as I want to do more this year. I mean, I do set goals for myself every year, but not because the calendar changed, but because I want to try to better myself every year. But that has nothing to do with the holiday. No. But for me, it's most of the worst things that have happened to me all happened to me on that day. And so it literally gets to the point where when people say the name of the holiday, I actually have flashbacks in my head. So yeah. I usually go into hiding, but because I need to get my monetization stream up. I never got to do the birthday party because everything happening. I'm going to kind of just bite and deal with the people and the issues a bit today because I don't know when I'm going to have another chance while I'm here helping take care of mom for the winter, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, you're going to be getting a lot of that.
That's why I
that
need
day.
somebody. I need somebody on panel to help me screen the chats and help me respond to people. I don't know who I'm going to get to do that yet, but I need somebody for it. Holy crap.
I'm surprised you don't already have a couple people lined up for that.
Maybe. Richard might actually try to come back, but the problem is he's been having internet issues lately.
Richard would be excellent at that.
He doesn't get to really stream anymore because of how much he's taking care of his mother, so.
Oh, that sucks.
It does, but I still get to talk to him all the time, so I've got that at least.
Hey, MKG, I don't know if you got this. I haven't been able to respond back to PK Dan, but he did say he was back home now.
Okay, good to know. I was worried.
I have no way of contacting him until Thursday when I'm out of Twitter jail.
Understood.
Yeah, I talked to him on Twitter Saturday, and he said he was home and he was okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Gap, if you talk to him on Twitter, Cap, just let him know, hey, I'm suspended until probably Thursday morning. So that's why I haven't responded back to him.
That's why I said, are you ever going to stop getting yourself suspended and banned everywhere, which you didn't respond to, but Cap did to make fun of you.
What did you get banned for now?
I made a certain somebody put up a meme that said, if you say this on Twitter, you will get suspended. Well, this is me we're talking about. So, of course, I had to type it in, and I got suspended for 7 days. I'm like, well, I
was being a dumb fuck.
I fucked around and found out. But I got to test the waters. I can't let everybody else do it.
No, you really don't have to.
Hey,
Yeah, if it said jump off this cliff, you'd probably.
No,
walk
I
up
was
and jump
going
off the
to
cliff.
give you a video to wanted you to see, Cap, because it's funny with the bighorn, but I'm trying to figure out how to do that when I can't load other tabs for shit on this stupid Chromebook, and
sucks.
I don't have the ability to post them in your chat because I haven't been around here wrenching for you forever. So I'm trying to figure out how to share it to you. I may have to just message it.
Let me.
I saw a really good meme the other day. I wish I could have posted it to you guys. It was the Death Star scene. It was that captain coming up to Grandma turn. Evacuate in our moment of triumph? Sir, John Wick's dog was on Alderaan.
There, you should be able to post the link now.
And then he flies off in his Tiderian shuttle. I thought it was funny.
Okay, this is for Rosetta. Why do women like older men? That's Carlos' question.
I think it if you want a serious answer, it probably goes back to the instincts for protector, provider stuff when young. If you want an unserious answer, it's because a lot of them are gold diggers and they're easier to manipulate when they're old and horny. I mean,
that's true.
They both are. You know, there was a long time throughout history, you know, it was older men marrying younger women. You know, for example, my great grandparents, my great grandfather was 25, my granny was 16. And that was considered completely acceptable. Yeah, buddy.
That just anymore would seem really odd, but yeah.
That 16 part, yeah, that's the odd part.
I think you'd want to watch this one, Cap, because it's actually kind of funny. This is, I think, how I envision most people's dates going when they're trying to get some. The clip I just put in chat. It's the bighorn sheep because they're in rut behavior right now, so they're in mating season. So.
See if I can actually open that one.
The clip went too perfect when I was recording it, and I had to use it because it was so funny. He got turned down so hard. Let's see here. Actually, I envision this is how a lot of MD's dates went when he was young.
I'm sure there was a joke there at my expense, but I wasn't here to hear it.
There was, and it'll be more
Whoa.
evident when we get the video clip.
Whoa. Let's see here if I can get this.
You saw it, Cap?
Yep.
He got shot down hard, didn't he?
Oh, God. Yeah.
And I just recorded that a few days ago out on the road between Custer to Hermosa, just outside of Wildlife Loop.
Is that? Wow. The fact that you shot that it's amazing that.
Well, to be fair, I was in the car with the window down. I wasn't getting close to them running.
Okay. Being in the car, at least you're a little safer. But that looked awfully close.
Yeah, Carlos, I did. And that really wasn't even zoomed in. That was right outside the car window where that happened. All those little animal clips on my channel, I recorded myself. The picture here, I actually took Christmas Eve myself.
Is that a Leadix?
That is a bobcat that was sitting on the rocks just inside the loop there. I've actually found his cave while we've been doing stuff.
Wow. Oh, I saw the video, Rosetta. Yeah, that was funny.
See, I said that's how I envisioned most of your dates went when you were young.
You'd be wrong.
No, it didn't start happening to him until after he got married the first time.
Let's not go into how many women I slept with during my first marriage.
Oh my God, Carlos.
Oh my.
I wish to God I could still remember all their names, but
I recorded that clip just on this stupid little phone out my car door.
how the hell did your phone get that good resolution like that?
This phone is one of the last ones that LG made. It has a freaking 70 megapixel camera.
Ah.
Well, there you go.
That explains it.
I thought you were actually using
This was their equivalent to the brand new iPhone at that era a year ago.
I thought you were using maybe the camera you had for, when you take your eagles and take your pictures and everything.
Some of my photos I post are taken on this in places where the other camera's lenses are too big to get through the gaps to get them.
I got you.
Cool.
See, I'm selfish. I have to have all kinds of different fancy cameras. And so.
Yeah, she's got to get all the right angles.
And not just in pictures, sweetie.
I wasn't going to go there.
Do you have an OnlyFans for those pictures?
He walks into these comments so easily, doesn't he?
No, I do them intentionally. Some of them I do intentionally. Some of them I just walk into because as dirty as my mind is, I'm nowhere near.
When correctly viewed, everything is lewd.
Absolutely.
And who here actually knows what song that's from?
Can't think of it off the top of my head.
I can't.
So disappointed. Tom Lear's Smut.
I don't know who that is.
You don't know who Tom Lehrer is?
Doesn't ring a bell.
NB just lost more points.
I don't know who that person is. Sorry, music is a very, very small pool for me to be into.
Come on, he did a song called The Masochism Tango.
Ow.
He did.
And Poisoning Pigeons in the Park. And
Yeah.
And if you ever want to offend Catholics, just play the Vatican rag.
I know more than I'm a baptized Catholic. Trust me, I know more than my fair share of ways to piss them off.
Well, what's the difference between a non-baptized Catholic?
A baptized Catholic can take communion. A non-baptized Catholic cannot.
I had so many inappropriate comments to that question. I'm just going to say.
Well, there's plenty of jokes to it, but I kind of did want to bring those up.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say because you could make so many jokes about some of the issues they've had with priests and what the baptism's actually made of, but sorry.
Oh my God, I haven't heard that one in a while. Well, trust me, going to a Catholic mass is like one of the most. Going to a Catholic mass is worse than going to a formation in your unit. Stand up. Listen to somebody.
Stand up, sit down, kneel down. Stand up, sit down, kneel down. Do a shot.
Sing this hymn that you don't know.
Sit down.
Sing this hymn that you don't know that has nothing to do with the verse we're talking about. Next verse comes up, has nothing to do with the previous verse or the hymn. Next hymn has nothing to do with anything you just read or sung. Thank you. Here's the offering plate. Come to confession on Thursday.
Now, I admit, personally, people who are Catholic, I have nothing against you personally. I have issues with the church, and I have a lot of issues with the local Catholic church I've dealt with my family since I was a kid. So, but I don't have those issues with the people. I mean, I hang out with Odin on his movie blog. I sit there and talk to Father Luca and Miller and them all the time. I talk with priests almost daily. I have priests in town I'm friends with at home. But I still have issues with the church itself and some of their doctrine.
Yeah, that's you have an issue with the organization, not necessarily the people.
I have a issue with the people when it comes to the one down here near in the town I grew up in.
Specific people.
Sounds like
basically every leader of that church is a pile of crap, but that's a whole other rant.
Yeah.
This is the church where literally the head nun did a hit and run on my car while we were there at my cousin's funeral.
Oh, wow.
She drove into it while we were inside it, looked around real quick to see if it was on the sidewalk, and drove off.
Wow.
And we were in the car and watched her do it.
Oh, my God. Hello, the lovely Sherry. Bird of Prey says you need to be confirmed to take communion. Orville Nation, hello. Aravic Sonder, Culture Casino. Yeah, my father, his name was Father Damien, and he had 2 Doberman pinchers, and I thought he was, I thought the church was evil and he was the devil. And I begged my mom to take me. Huh?
You watched Omen a little too much.
No, I didn't watch the Omen until I was just a small kid. I didn't know what the Omen was, but now I do.
Just the fact that you said your dad's name was Damien.
No, my father of my church.
Oh.
Father Damien.
That's even worse. It's like, hey, priest, before your confirmation, we need to talk about your name here. Yeah, not good optic.
And he had the blackest eyes. You couldn't even see his pupils or anything.
Wow.
He was creepy.
Yeah, and while we're at it, soon to be father, contact lenses. We need to work on the color of your eyes. They're a little too dark for us. You look like the devil, and your name doesn't help that. So we kind of need to mitigate that.
And then when you had to go to his office, he had a fireplace in it because I got in trouble, and I had to sit out in the courtyard in the rain and recite the rosary for an hour in the rain. But before I got sent to go do that, he called me into his office, and he had a fireplace, and it was lowly lit. And then when I saw the movie, I'm like, yep, that's the devil.
Oh, Lord.
And 2 Doberman pinchers, y'all. 2 Doberman pinchers. And I was like, and they would stand on each side of him. And then those black eyes. And I'm like, Ma, get me out of here.
Let's see here. Hey, Orville Nation. Hey, Culture Casino. What's going on, gentlemen? Go ahead.
I never got what that
Or-
whole scared of Dobermans and pit bulls thing is. I've
No.
never found
I
them
can tell you
threatening
firsthand
whatsoever.
about the. I can tell you
Speaking as somebody
firsthand
that was
about the
mauled
pit
by a
bulls.
pit bull, I can get it.
Yeah.
I've seen pit bulls. Once those jaws, when they say those jaws latch down, it takes crowbar to break them. This is not a fucking joke. I've seen it
Well,
3 times in my life.
From when I was mauled, it didn't take a crowbar. It took a heel to the jaw of it, kicking with the other foot.
You got bit? Oh my god.
I got mauled by a pit bull in the leg when I was in college. And I kicked it with the high heel in the jaw from the other foot. That's why it ran away.
Well, you're lucky that worked. We were trying to.
Oh,
beat this.
no. I have strong legs. I kicked it hard. It actually had a pretty good bash on its jaw.
No, still,
Yeah,
that's
I
a lot to get
understand
them to
they're
let
strong,
go.
but-
To get them to let go. We had one time where I was driving down the road, and you had this freaking pit bull just came out of nowhere and started ripping into this little Cocker Spaniel. And there's like 3 of us trying to beat the hell out of this thing to get it off the damn dog. And cop had to come over, and he pulled out his gun. And it's like, everybody's like, "You're gonna have to shoot it."
What's
And he
y'all's
had to shoot it.
The
That was the only
problem with
freaking
pit
way.
bulls is that they were bred for violence. So they actually do, yes, have an enlarged medulla. They actually do have a larger aggression center. Now, that does not mean that they can't be good guard dogs and other stuff, but they shouldn't be in the hands of people who don't understand they need specific training and care as a puppy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem. Same even with cat breeds. Like my cat ornery is part Mau and Siamese. You don't want those breeds of people who don't understand specific care because she's not easy to deal with. She's temperamental. She's loud. She's aggressive because that's her breed. And you have to know how to handle those issues or they're going to have more issues.
She sounds a lot like you.
We had
No, because she's dumb. And I'm not.
we had an issue back in the early '90s in Jacksonville, Florida. My neighbor Donnie and Tia, they had a pit bull terrier named Honey. Now, Honey was a sweet dog. She was an absolutely loved, affectionate dog. Never bit anything that we had ever seen. But one day, out of the blue, I'm outside in the backyard, and I'm hearing Amber whimpering and screaming and crying, and it turned out Honey somehow dug under, got in our fence, and attacked her. And she had been around all these dogs before and had never attacked Amber. And Amber was just an old mutt. And it took Donnie, Tia, and my stepfather to finally pry him away.
What's y'all's
Thankfully,
thought
Amber
on?
lived.
Wow. What's your thoughts on everybody's thoughts on Rottweilers? I encountered some loose Rottweilers.
Rottweilers actually do not have as high of an attack rate as Dalmatians do.
Yeah.
Dalmatian, really?
Dalmatians are actually rated directly under pit bulls as the most common to attack because they are so inbred for the breed that they're temperamental.
Yeah, inbreeding is a real bad problem with a lot of dog breeds.
My stepfather, we had Sheba, Rottweiler, purebred. She was he breeded her a few times, and we had Athena, Nikita, and Zachariah. And yeah, they're big dogs, but they're like, you look at my Bernese Mountain Dog. He's huge, but he's just a big old guard dog. I mean, he'll bark at you, but and he will attack somebody if they pose a threat. But he's bred to be a guard dog, and
that's the thing. Rottweilers are bred for guarding, so they don't tend to attack unless you do something to provoke them.
But what they'll do is you'll see that I'll see this with my Australian Shepherd as well. Is when they go outside, they go around the entire perimeter. I mean, they literally have started doing that together. They'll walk the whole perimeter of our fenced area. And they do that multiple times. And you have Gizmo, the mountain dog. He always stays pretty much in the same location in the house. He stays on the far side where the women are, and he is right dead. He is either right on the couch or he is right in the middle of the floor, ready to pounce if he needs to. Well, he did at one point. I had a few days ago. I got up to about 5 a.m. I got up to let him and this little pain in the ass Maxine out, and he was barking at me. And then he realized who it was. I was like, good. If you're barking at me like that, you better do that when some stranger walks in the house.
Exactly.
Well, those Rottweilers knocked me down, but they kind of were like a little bit of ruh, 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 but they were so excited, and I tried to pet them, and they finally let me pet them, but then they jumped on me, knocked me down, and both sat on me until the owner showed up. I was in the yard, the pet fell down.
Yeah, Rotties will sometimes knock you down.
They're strong. They are strong. Those dogs.
This little girl here, she'll knock your ass down just because she's so fast and she jumps like crazy.
The problem that I have as a general with how a lot of people handle their dogs is that they forget that, yeah, I'm all for having pets and stuff, but having a cat versus having a dog is not the same when you're talking about interacting with people. While it was a thing back in the 50s, there aren't really a lot of people dragging their cats with them everywhere. And
No.
I'm sorry, but pets shouldn't be in public places and stores around service animals and people with allergies and stuff and food and being put in carts where food goes and stuff like that. Nothing against the pets. The pets aren't the problem. The owners who don't think about health code, safety of others and stuff like that are, you know?
Exactly.
And it's extremely stressful for the animals. Right now, a lot of people seem to think that the dog is a person, and they also don't seem to think that they need to be more careful if they have large dogs. But large dogs, if they turn on you, are deadly. Cats usually aren't. That's the difference. And so you have to put those considerations into the care for them as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Also,
I'm sorry. I got 4 cats, and they all, you have to pay attention. They all have their personalities, and I've got a black cat, and he just cops an attitude, and he talks all the time. When you tell him he has to come in from the patio, he gets upset, and he will attack my leg when I say go in, and he'll go in, and he'll come by, stop, attack my leg, and bitch at me, and then go. Like, I didn't want to go in.
Bitch is the correct word for a dog. I mean, sorry.
It is.
Sorry.
But I like
I'm
cats.
It's the best time to use the word, actually.
Rosetta, if you go to the AKC website, it says right there, bitches. It even says on. That is
the actual scientific term for it. Just like a whale's penis is a dork, which is why it's really insulting to call people penises or dorks.
So this guy that I know called the Dork Knight, he's really the Penis Knight.
I know him, and I know him, and I know him, and don't wait. I know him, and do not dare take my joke. I was already planning stuff for him on that.
Damn, I want to take your joke. Well,
no,
you got to come on.
I'm already planning schemes on this one to get him with it.
All right, Sunday is his wrestling show, so that's when you can do it.
I always said, there's a reason why, you want to be called a dork. It's like, okay, so you come by the gallons. That's a creepy insult. I mean.
And apparently now we know Carlos is huge, according to the chat.
Oh, Lord. Let me look at the chat now.
It's like some of the animal terms that are the scientific terms that they use in defining these things with animals. You can tell people were having fun when they named them. Like, okay, the official name of a group of baby ducklings sleeping together is a cuddle.
A cuck? A what?
A cuddle.
Cuddle. Really?
Yep.
Wow. Man, you hurry up and get that Dork Knight joke out so I can keep on using it after you're done.
We need somebody to help us make a meme of the whale penis night, which is do like a Batman avatar done like a giant penis.
We can do that. We could get somebody at Pop Culture Minefield to do that.
Yeah, talk to them. See what we can do.
Absolutely.
I mean,
and And just for somebody who's in the chat, here you go.
Listen to me very carefully, because I'm only going to say this once. Coffee. Black.
Coffee. Black. While I've got your attention, there are...
Coffee first. Well, this mentor would like another cup of coffee. I'm just gonna have to give up coffee. Want some coffee?
If I'm not mistaken, that's your third cup this morning.
Fourth, and on a day like today, it won't be my last. Coffee. The finest organic suspension ever devised. Commander, set a new course. There's coffee in that nebula.
I still hate coffee.
And that's totally fine.
I'm not fond of Mulgrew either.
Well, I'm not exactly standing in line to get her autograph, but you know.
No, I mean, okay, for how they wrote the character, she played the character well. Although she, according to even the other cast members, was a bitch off camera. So,
Really?
but yes, and actually, both her and Jerry Ryan have said the rumors about their rivalry on set was true. She was nasty to her the entire time.
She's
ever since she joined the show.
Well,
Because she's just eye candy. She's not a real actress for the show.
Yeah, that's what I was going to think she would say.
She really is one of the feminazis. I'm sorry.
I mean, I think that's why they brought her in, because when she first showed up, I was like, whoa, hey.
Okay,
Then,
yes, they were trading in an unpopular female character for a more sexy, appealing one. But that wasn't all she was. They actually did do a lot of story, character, and depth stuff. So,
Well,
yes,
they
there was a
tried,
little
yeah.
eye candy thrown into it, but that's not all she was. And if she wanted to do that part, then Sexual Revolution, respect the women that want to do that. The original Star Trek series was part of that. The women asked for those short skirts. They wanted to be more free sexually. So Star Trek's always been about the sexual revolution. Be free to be sexual if you want to.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because I think my mom walked by and she's like, yeah, they just threw her on there for the jiggles. I'm like, no, but she's developing. And she goes, yeah, she already has.
Well, actually, to be fair, her bodysuit was way too tight to jiggle in it, first of all.
Yeah.
Second of all, she was actually a really in-depth character. And let's just point out, anything to get rid of the psychopath that played Kes is a good thing, considering the shit that woman's been convicted of and done since she left the show.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Because I didn't hear what happened to her. But when you mentioned Kes, all I could think about is that glowing crap when she evolved or whatever the hell.
You know what? At least the Evolve episode and her leaving the ship, I love you all and stuff, had some sense. The episode where she returned, where she was nothing but a raging psychopath and the exact opposite happened, is on par with Spock's brain as one of the worst Star Trek episodes of all time. Yeah. It's like fucking Beverly banging a ghost.
Well, that was a handout. She had just got somewhat. She just gotten herself relatively together, and they wanted to bring her back for the ending of the show.
Yeah, but they could have done something that wasn't a complete in-your-face spit in the eye of everything that had happened to the character the entire time she was on the show.
Yeah, they never should have done the. They never should have done the episode to begin with.
No.
That episode was pointless.
If they wanted to bring her back, there's ways they could have written a way to bring her back as the evolved being and have her give them some love and maybe push them further home or stuff. That would have made more sense.
That would have made sense. Yeah.
That would have made sense. So what did she do in her personal life?
Oh, God. You'll have to look up. There was a bunch of different charges she's been hit with, including assaulting cops, other shit, harassment of minors, all kinds of stuff. She's a psycho.
A lot of it based off of drugs because she was a big user.
Yeah, cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Yeah, but you know what? Most drugs, there are exceptions, do not make you act that way. They just enhance the violence already in you.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So she had to be that psycho to begin with, you know?
Yeah.
But no, so she's a train wreck and a half, and she's an awful person in how she treats people. So I have very little sympathy for her because of how she treats other people. I have sympathy for the addiction part and stuff, but once she's treaded the line to harassing minors and terrorizing children and assaulting a cop, I have no sympathy for her.
Has she
No.
ever appeared at any conventions or anything? Or is
Not in a long time.
No. Her condition wouldn't allow her to be in that bigger crowd for very long.
Oh, wow. Some of these Star Trek actors, I wish I didn't know some of their past. It just sometimes ruins the show because if it's so stuck in my head, I can't let it go.
The problem,
Yeah. Go ahead.
the problem with Carlos's comment in chat, the problem with Fox Brain is that it was awkward. It made no scientific sense compared to everything else on the show, and it read like somebody was doing acid and LSD when they wrote it. Just saying.
Probably true.
It read like somebody was on some sort of drug inducement hallucinations. That's how the episode came out. And considering it was the 60s, they probably were.
You never know.
But
You never know.
it was awkward of the original series. I've never been a secret to Cap knows. I rate them basically by order of release through the series I like. And it's not intentional, it's just the way it came out, you know? I love the original series. But there were still a couple episodes that were weird as hell and didn't make sense. And the worst was Spock's Brain.
Oh, I would not say that was the worst. It was among the worst. But
What would you
I would say
is
Miri
the
was
worst
one of the worst.
Miri.
Which one?
Miri.
Yeah.
I when I
Still
think
made
of,
more logical
I think of
sense
that
than
one,
Spock's Brain.
No, when I think of that, Spock's Brain is more down the list on that. Miri always comes to my mind as the worst.
Oh God, NB and I agree on something. Shoot me, please.
Haha.
It only happens a few times a year.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
and I usually bring it on. Why is that?
Summer.
NB, why is it usually when you and Cap agree on something, I'm arguing with you guys?
That's a good question.
One of life's little mysteries. I have no clue.
What about the Eden episode? Don't you think that was kind of bad?
Exit to Eden?
The Way to Eden or whatever.
Way to Eden?
Yeah.
Huh.
That was pretty.
I don't know. A lot of the ones that get panned as bad, I actually understand them. I think the reason why a lot of them come off as bad is because they were written in the 60s writing style, and for some of the stories that came off a little disjointed and jumpy in places.
Right.
But I can follow them because I understand that era's writing, so most of those don't bother me. You know?
Oh, the problem is you can follow them, but they're dull and poorly acted, like with Way to Eden.
To be fair, basically every episode of the original series had some overacting, some bad acting, and some cheese in it. I'm sorry, that was the acting style of the day, and I to a degree, I enjoy it sometimes. But yeah, there's times I sit there and roll my eyes. But I mean, there was some absurd overacting and bad acting in Measure of a Man. I still fucking love it. You know?
But Measure of a Man had such a great story to it.
It did. But that's my point is I think that if a lot of people have with the original series is if it didn't have what they consider one of the most intense or great stories, then the 60s cheese and the 60s overacting starts to play on their minds more while they're watching it.
Yeah, but if you look at a lot, if we really looked at some of the great ones, they were bottleneck episodes. I mean,
Carlos keeps making those comments in chat from the catchphrases in the original series. I've now got Star Trekking from the firm in my head. Thank you. There's Klingons on the starboard bow, starboard bow, starboard bow. There's Klingons on the starboard. Scrape them off, Jim. My favorite line in that song. We come in peace, shoot to kill, shoot to kill, shoot to kill. We come in peace, shoot to kill, shoot to kill, man.
It's like, oh wait, no, that's not it. Sorry, I was thinking of a different line from part of the song. I was thinking of Spock going, "It's life, Jim. How does we know it? How does we know it? How does we know it?"
No,
It's
that's
life.
the same song.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Did you see the animated
Now,
part to it?
if I'm not mistaken, Way to Eden, did anybody besides me think they just really made these people like really stereotypical hippies?
Yes, because it was the era.
Yeah.
And
And that's literally what they come off as.
it was
Very-
stereotypical, but it was very accurate for hippies.
Even as they were working with the era and stuff, their episode involving native culture was still more accurate than anything on Voyager, with dealing with all the fucking shit they did with Chakotay and the fake native writer.
Yeah, that's true. I agree.
And that's, again, I have the entire series of Voyager. I still watch it, but I can sit there and say he was a fake Indian, he was a con artist who ripped off the tribes, and he's a piece of shit. I can still say that and like the show.
Yeah.
I like the Year of Hell from Voyager.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes. I actually had stories I wrote as a teenager based on that concept. Yes, that one was actually one of my favorites.
You know, there was one thing I really thought that when I saw Battlestar Galactica, the reimage, I kind of looked at that and I said, this is how Voyager should have been the first few years. And I mean that because it should not have been as quick for the Maquis and Starfleet to just get along. That seemed like it was too early. Their ideologies were too different. There should have been more clashes between Chakotay and Janeway, because Janeway this was her first command. This was her first time as captain.
Look, we all know that the whole Maquis issue, the whole fighting for your land you're being kicked out of. Roddenberry was a huge fan of natives. A lot of that stuff that he wrote and theorized that his wife made happen after he died was based on the native struggles and the genocide. It was. So it was a bunch of other stuff in Star Trek. I love that side of it. I love things that had a tribute to my culture and stuff. But you got to do it well. And the thing is, they did better the Maquis parallels to native culture in DS9 than they did in Voyager, where they supposedly had more of the Maquis and an actual native one.
Yeah, you are correct on that. I will definitely agree with you on that. I'll take the episode where it deals with the Maquis and TNG, and that's when the one Bajoran lady. Now I'm drawing a blank on her name.
Ro Laren.
Ro Laren, yeah. And she betrays Captain Picard. Now, initially, I really hated that episode because it really bothered me that they did that to the character. But as I've had years of rewatching it and looking, I'm like, she really had to struggle with that choice. But she believed in the cause because the cause was something that she could relate to, being from Bajor and during the Cardassians' occupation. And it was just, thanks, honey. And to her, it was just something, it was a struggle she believed worth fighting for. And if the Federation wasn't going to do it, she's like, well, I'm actually not part of the Federation, so I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem was in that episode, they did a pretty piss poor job of communicating her feelings on the situation.
Yeah, they didn't do a good job with Ro Laren because they lost her.
Poor too.
I don't know if it was the actress or the writing style they created for it, but Ro Laren, yes, while she was supposed to be military and more hardened and less emotional, they did on most of the episodes a piss poor job of communicating that balance line, where they did the military or logical versus emotional much better with Spock in the original series than they did with Ro in the TNG era.
I remember, if I'm not mistaken, the actress who played Ro was actually offered the position on DS9 that ended up being Kira Reese. But
I would have rather had Ro Laren. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people love Kira, but I can't stand that character and half of the shit she said.
No, but I mean, if they had taken aspects of what Kira was in that thing, I think they could have done Ro Laren just because now she would have been back, in that she would have brought an interesting dynamic, because she would have had that Starfleet also being part of the resistance being part of the resistance and everything that was going on Bajor. I think it could have really had a hell of a dynamic.
Yeah. See, I think they could have done Kira better if they cut a couple of the lines that were obviously more true terroristic and less freedom fighter, and worked a little more on some of the attitude in some of them. They could have done the character much better. But I don't blame that on the actress. As far as I've been ever tell on anything else, I've liked Nana Visitor and other things I've seen her in. B, she seems to be a genuinely nice person, everybody. So it's not her. It was the writing style I didn't like, you know?
And in all
Right, I
fairness,
got you.
Nana Visitor is a much better actress than the one who played Willie Lauren. So that helped a lot.
Yeah, but I think if they had more of a character closer to Ro, but with the acting abilities and the emotion that was so well done by Nana, they would have had the perfect character. That's me.
I can see that.
Mar. Word.
No, but try not to use it to catch your perverted dreams. It's not for semen.
Okay, now I gotta pee after that one. It's got me laughing so hard. It's like, okay, I need to go pee before I piss my pants.
I mean, I guess it could if you use the right kind of fabric and had like a full-size one in front of the door trying to block you. I mean,
that would be an interesting door. That would become a door itself. Yeah. Cool.
See, and I know plenty of people who would have gotten offended at his comment, but I thought it was funny.
Oh.
So I just doubled down on it.
Oh, there are people that would be offended. You can tell I'm not one of them.
I remember, you remember, of course, the 90s was doing some of the stuff based on the 60s cheese and stuff like that for some movies, right?
Oh, yeah.
So when they did the movie version of Dudley Do-Right, the reason it was panned by the critics and a lot of the audience was because they said it was racist to natives.
Right.
Because they took a lot of the F-troop humor about natives and mixed it into the Dudley Do-Right story. The funny thing about that is, do you know who the biggest fan of that movie that I ever knew was?
Who?
My native dad. He thought the Indian jokes in that were hilarious as hell. He also
you got a lot of that stuff in the original Dudley Do-Right too.
Yeah, I mean, for right now, go back to that Era's TV and look up Go Go Gophers, for crying out loud. That was literally cowboys and Indians with the Gophers being loudmouthed Indians, but they were smart. But do I know how many racial stereotypes of both white and red were in that little skit that they put in between shows?
Quite a few, I'm sure.
Oh, it was hilarious. I mean,
pretty much all of it.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Dreamcatcher the wrong way around. Well, I would assume that it re-releases all the dark dreams back into your head, but it depends. Is there any room in your head or is it empty? Well, that's the thing is, people have got to learn to laugh at themselves and to laugh at their cultures and laugh at their backgrounds and have a sense of humor. Life is too short to be an uptight bitch.
Yeah, and we got plenty of those in this world. Most of them in politics. People take themselves.
I remember when I was early in streaming and stuff, and I had a bunch of followers unsubscribe to me and quit talking to me because I actually showed footage of a heron eating a baby duckling.
Wow. Did they even say why?
Because that was cruel and horrible. It's like, that's nature. I've told you, nature's a bitch. All these little tree huggers. Oh, the beautiful balance of nature. You mean eat and be eaten, kill everything in sight?
Yeah. It's like we need to live in harmony with nature. You keep saying that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
No, and I do believe we need to try to create a harmonious balance where we minimize our impact on nature and undo a lot of the damage our species has done. But with reason and ration, and just because it's nature doesn't mean it's this perfect balance or shit.
Exactly.
And I keep telling people I will always show disturbing things. I have showed footage on my stream of some of the stuff I've found for dealing with poachers and stuff. including some of the ways they tormented animals, as part of I'm helping find these people, let's fight it.
Yeah.
And if people are offended, guess what? It's not my problem, it's yours. At least I'm out there helping fight it.
I've always been one who says this. The arrogance of man. This planet survived an ice age, dinosaurs, meteors, all kinds of other shit. Yet somehow we think that it won't survive long after we're gone.
Oh, I'm sure it will, but I do believe we have damaged things. We have done things that are inexcusable to animals in the environment and places. As a species, there's things that have been done that are inexcusable, that there's no reason to do it. And that's a common place where most people can agree. There's no reason to do this poaching shit where you're tormenting animals while they're alive just to get one little piece off them. There's no reason to intentionally hunt an animal to extinction. There's no reason to, I mean, for fuck's sakes, one of my favorite places to go camping as a kid is gone because fucking arson fire burned down a good chunk of the Black Hills when I was in Job Corps.
See, I don't understand. See, that is something I've never understood. Every hunter I know, every fisherman I know, when
Huntress.
they catch something, they are going to use every piece of that they can.
Yes. Because a lot of the American hunting culture actually is based on the native culture, which is use what you kill, don't waste the animal's life. The poachers and the trophy hunters are a plague among us, and they are not part of us.
Exactly.
They're also less than 5% of the ones actually.
No, they are a small
Most
percent, but they do a lot of damage. And I have never claimed they're a large percent. I grew up hunting and trapping. I've shot deer, eyes, all that stuff. It's not a thing. It's not a thing with most hunters, but it is really bad when they get out there and when you find the sites that they've done shit to. They are disturbing. They are creepy. They are disgusting. And it is something to admonish, say is wrong, and fight. And that doesn't mean that anyone's opposing real hunters for that fight.
No.
Now, I'm sure there are places. I'm sure there are places like where I have here, where I live, that Rosetta, you have in your area, where when people go hunting, I'm sure there are butcher shops available that take the animals in, help make sure they're carved up, so the person, when they come back, they have the animal.
Yeah,
and
there's most places I know. There is at least one in pretty much every state. Have places where you can take animals in if you have parts you can't use, and they will break it down and send it out to food banks and the bones and stuff for processing, for meals for animals and for beating and stuff like that. And they'll actually help you disperse the other parts for donations to different groups.
Exactly. And butchers, despite what people might think, butchers take their craft very seriously.
Oh, yes.
I mean, they take that. They want to use every piece of that animal they can, no matter what.
Ken, when people say trophy hunters, we're not talking about people who collect the trophy and donate the meat. We're talking about people who collect the trophy and dump it, and there are a percent that do. It's not a big one, but it's a serious one. Most people don't consider ones who get a trophy and then donate the meat as trophy hunters as much as hunters who do a lot of donations for charity.
I'll give you an example of a movie, Prey. The Predator prequel movie, where the and I forgot what tribe she was from, but she
was supposed to be Comanche, but it was a Lakota woman, and they got half of the language and culture wrong.
Okay, well, like I said,
but that's just from the different people of the different tribes and the scenes we've actually sat there and watched and dissected together. It doesn't mean that it was woke or other stuff. It means they got a lot of shit wrong.
I think they were at least trying. They could have probably done better.
They tried as much as Disney can try, which
that is kind of true. But one of the interesting scenes is where she goes in and she sees, all the buffalo that were slaughtered just for their hides, and they didn't take any of the meat, nothing. And she puts this kind of a symbol on one of the animals. I'm assuming a blessing or something for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was because
basically it's a prayer for the spirit of the animal for what they went through. It's similar to last rites with Catholic, and some tribes do it, some don't. Ken,
And-
that's actually not true in every state. That's only true in some. Some, as long as you're within what you're allowed to hunt, it's still legal to dump them.
Nowadays, if hunting and they don't.
That is true in many states, but it's not true in every state yet.
Unfortunately,
I'm not familiar with that. Most people I know around here,
Like I
generally
said,
when
I call this stuff out, I'm not attacking the majority of hunters. I am a hunter. I'm attacking the fringe that are causing serious damage, and they are, and who are hurting animals senselessly. And yes, poaching is a bigger issue in Africa and Australia and other places like that than it is in the US, but we still do have issues with it.
Oh yeah.
you don't like people who don't respect the tradition of what hunting is supposed to be.
Yes, I don't like people who don't care for the animal and don't treat it right. I have nothing against anyone as long as they don't waste the life.
Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of the whole point of it. Yes, it's part of nature, but it's like, sorry I had to do this, but you will not, we're not going to waste you.
Yeah. If you look at what you were talking about with that, the reason so many people thought that the Sioux and several of the other tribes were praying to animals is because they would actually lean down and do a prayer and a thank you over the animal when they hunted, thanking it for the life it gave to help protect, feed, and care for their family.
Mm-hmm.
That was a respect to another life form. It wasn't a prayer to it. It was I am so sorry I had to do this, but I have to. I don't want to hurt unless I have to. That was an appreciation of the life.
Animal you were giving. You're not praying to the animal. You're just saying a prayer of respect.
And thanking the animal for what it gave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that makes total sense to me.
And so, yeah, when I talk about this, and I understand where Ken's coming from, and nothing against him.
No.
There are more issues with poachers than people still think, though. I've dealt with several of them where I've been helping track ones. I've actually dealt with a case where there were several poaching issues in an area, and it led to them finally being caught after they actually killed a farmer's dog that tried to stop them. So these are cases I've dealt with. So it is still an issue. And when I'm fighting them, I'm not opposing hunters.
Yeah, Carl brings up something interesting. He goes, what a waste of meat, when or somebody said this in here where, it goes to go to work and they waste the food at the end of the night. I asked about that once. I asked about that once at one of my work. I was like, why are we dumping all this food? There's nothing wrong with it. They're like, well, we can't resell it. And I'm like, well, why can't we package it up and take it to like a food bank or something?
And
there's nothing wrong with it.
A lot of
places are starting to. Some places, even some fast food, are starting to do that now, where they donate the meats at the end of the night.
See, when I asked that question, this was back in the 90s, and they told me that was illegal.
It probably was.
It actually was a lot harder to do within the health code and laws in the 90s than it is now. They've actually relaxed some of that a little so they can actually fix some of those issues. But a lot of businesses still don't because it's more effort.
Yeah, but
it's also a tax write-off, guys. You get some money back if you do this, and you're helping not waste life.
Yeah, versus you just throw it out and you get nothing. I remember throwing
and yes,
out
also some of
food.
that waste, if you separate it out, they actually use some of that waste, the breads and the meats and stuff, for biofuels now also.
Yeah, but there was so much stuff I had to throw out at the end of the night. And I was just like, this is such a fucking waste.
No, I did food service when I was in college in the early 2000s, and it was still pretty bad then.
Yeah. Even as close to 2015, you cannot donate something that was improperly packaged or beyond the printed expiration date, or did not have a printed expiration date.
When it comes to food at fast food places, in order to donate it, you have to have labels saying exactly when it was cooked, when it was taken out of the heat chute, how it was packaged, other stuff. You have to prove that it is not tainted, that it hasn't been sitting out too long, all this other stuff.
I don't disagree with that.
I'm not even talking about pre-cooked stuff. I'm talking about pre-packaged.
Yeah, but
the
we're
state
starting
will get
to
on you just
now
as much
where
as if you're putting it to a grocery store.
Yeah, But we're starting to get now where a lot of the food banks here are getting more venison and hunted meats and stuff like that because they've worked out a system where if the meat's properly brought to the butcher and broken up by them, they can donate it because it's sealed and certified now.
Absolutely. And good afternoon, Dr. Alex.
Hello.
Hello,
Yeah.
Captain Fandom Nerd. I could not be here. We're not with you actually being live for once.
Well, it is much appreciated. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for having me. How is everyone? Hello, chat. And hello, panel.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing, Doc?
Oh,
I noticed you haven't been streaming as much.
Me?
You.
I was going to say, I don't stream, but then you're right. I have been with those Beyond the Horizon videos, but I kind of ground to a halt as we approached the Christmas period and things got really busy. So I have been thinking it's about time I made the next Beyond the Horizon. Yeah, when I do Beyond the Horizon, when I do streaming, yeah.
But
To
you've
that
been
one,
doing good
Ken,
with those
it also
classic
depends on the
cartoons.
state because a lot of these rural states don't have enough resources for those still. But some states are, and some are working on trying to get it implemented with the smaller populations and large land masses they have. They don't have a lot of that here in South Dakota area, Wyoming, Montana, because there's so much land and so few people, it's hard to do.
And good morning, Crimson Mist. I am sorry to hear that you're digging out of a snowstorm.
Yeah, it's snowing here too. That's why I'm in bed.
And we don't have any snow here right now. It all got melted away by the rain.
We had massive snow, a horrible freeze, and then everything melted for a few days, and now it's snowing again.
Yeah, I think the snow completely passed over us. Although today we've had a fog since 7 o'clock this morning where you couldn't see 30 feet ahead of you. And if I'm looking outside, yeah, we still got that fog all over, and it's almost noon here. I'm sure Dr. Alex in the UK is used to fog.
Yeah, it's not unheard of, that's for sure. That's for sure.
So how has your how have your holidays been? Well, I'll ask that. Ask it that way.
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Oh, hello. Yeah, good. This is the last. No, I've got one more day of holiday, and then I'm back to work. So that's kind of depressing now. You reminded me, but apart from that, they've been great.
Well, at least you got one last day.
Yes, it's true. I've been very productive. I've been messing around with music equipment. I've been making videos. I've been trying to learn how to ride a bike safely. I mean, a motorbike rather than a bicycle. I don't know,
right.
Bicycles, if I can remember, but yeah.
Probably give up on that. There's no safe way.
Well, safe as possible, but yeah, it's still a motorbike, so death trap.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been productive.
Boxing Day was last week, right?
Yes, the day after Christmas.
Day after Christmas.
I came across this guy, Dr. Alex, who I've gone across a few of them. He goes comparing what British call things and what Americans call it. And some of them I found rather interesting. So on a pencil, you call it a rubber.
That's the rubber eraser thing again. Yeah. This is.
Yeah, I didn't know you guys called it
Americans.
that. I don't know. There was some that I heard that just kind of made me laugh. That I was just kind of like, yeah. Yeah, I was like, that would sound kind of funny here.
What about soggy bottom?
Fanny for you is ass, isn't it? But has a different meaning over here.
What about soggy bottom?
It just sounds wrong.
Soggy bottom, boys.
There's not a British phrase, soggy bottom?
No, but what I also found interesting was how he kind of put something in perspective I didn't even think about is, some of our words aren't spelled the same way. And then even if they are spelled the same way, we put emphasis on different characters in it.
Like
Which I
color.
found- well, I'm trying to think of one. There's several ones like, okay, we say shit, they say shite. They add an e on the end of it, which
yeah, but that's a regional variation. We still say shit mostly, but shite if you want to sound
Okay.
slightly less rude. But and it tend to be used a bit more up north or in the Midlands where shite's much more common. But yeah, there's sort of regional variation. But shit is the bog standard one, if you pardon the pun.
Oh yeah, this is what he did. He pointed out how we say this was the one I was talking about here. How we say, and he actually puts up, the breakdown of how the word sounds. He's got the British way of saying water and how we say it in America, water.
Right. I mean,
and there were just some I didn't realize.
Didn't sound very different to me. Water is what I would say.
Oh yeah, the tomato one. It's interesting but it was interesting to look at the breakdown of how you say the word, and it's like, oh, okay, now I can understand why, your culture says it a certain way.
So who was this? Who was pointing it out?
Eat, Sleep, Dream English. And he'll even admit sometimes he's had words he's gone through some of the words he's done, and he's like, I didn't even know this one. He's like, he was confused on the fact that we even said the words the way we do.
Some of the American pronunciations and American spellings are actually older than the English ones, and it's actually English in England that has evolved on to something different, not the Americans using something weird, which a lot of people forget. Actually, their version is an older version. Doesn't mean it's any less right or wrong than what we're doing right now, because we've changed the language.
Right. Well, I mean, even the English have changed the English language. So yeah, it's
exactly.
Oh, here's a good one: advertisement versus advertisement.
Yeah, advertisement is what I would say, but I still understand what advertisement means. It's very hard for me to say it even, but I still understand the words pronounced differently. Yeah.
So yeah, you put emphasis on that first E. We put the emphasis on that first A.
Yeah, advertisement. Yeah, advertisement. It's actually in some ways more similar to Italian, where they stress the first sound basically in any word anyway. So maybe it's just a European thing.
Schedule was another one.
Schedule. I think that's interchangeable.
Yeah, see, you say, I think you say to schedule or something like that.
Or schedule. That one's much more of a either or.
A lot of it is just accent.
Huh?
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I wasn't being heard. I mean, I know you're long-winded. I know you're long-winded, LDG. I mean,
oh, there he goes.
What happened, Gap?
I don't know. Mysterious.
Oh.
Can you hear me now?
Oh.
Yes.
There you
Yes.
are.
Okay. What about take the piss and can't be arsed? I laughed when I first heard that.
Now, doesn't taking the piss, isn't that another term for getting drunk?
Taking the piss is making fun of someone, but getting pissed is getting drunk.
Oh, okay. So what you're saying is that's kind of like you're full of shit or something?
Well, you're full of shit is saying you're basically a bullshitter. You're, what you're saying is worthless, liar, whatever. But I think that's pretty interchangeable across the Atlantic, that one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I think it's more ragging on somebody, you'd say over here. It's giving them a hard time.
Oh, and then we have the cookie and biscuits argument.
Yeah, what does constitute a biscuit then?
In America, biscuits and gravy, biscuits and butter.
But your digestive will go soggy.
No, because we're not putting a cookie on it.
That's not a biscuit.
Yes, biscuits are more like scones, but yeah.
Or scones, as I say. Now that's not American versus English. That's a divide even within this country. So scones and scones is a big argument. But I will always back up my use of scones, and in fact, that is clearly the right way to do it, because you can't make the joke unless you pronounce it scone. And in case you're not aware of the joke, what is the fastest cake in the world?
What?
Scone.
It's gone.
Yeah, scone. So, yeah. So it has to be pronounced scone, otherwise the joke doesn't work.
This
I
is
got
true.
All right, y'all. I've got to get going. So hope everybody has a great day.
Absolutely. Thank you for stopping by, Gappa.
Well, thanks for having me, and hopefully we'll see more of you, Captain Fandom Nerd.
Absolutely.
All right, peace out, everybody.
There you go.
Take care, Gap. So, yeah, here's one I was looking up. American words that completely confuse Brits. Realtor. I mean, I was actually surprised that's one. I was like, okay, real estate agent. Okay, I get that.
I assume it's an estate agent, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, this was the one I thought was interesting. Station wagon. And
it is a weird.
You guys call that version an estate car.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, I mean, it's been so used in so many shows that nobody doesn't know these days what a station wagon is, but it definitely had a different name before, yeah. And we would call it an estate car. I was thinking, is there any other alternatives that back in the day we used? I'll think about that one, scratch my head on that.
I didn't know this one until, because I'd heard this a lot in British stuff. It's like, hit the indicator. I'm like, what the hell is the indicator? Oh, it's the blinker.
Yes, well, the indicator is a perhaps more descriptive name for function, but the blinker is telling you what it's doing, I suppose. Is it?
Yeah.
Is it really blinking? Is your light actually got a thing going back and forth over it? I wonder. Maybe a flasher would be better.
That flasher would be better, except flasher is a term that's used for somebody who.
Yeah. Glad that's universal.
Somebody who basically exposes himself.
It's the emergency flashers on the car, so
yeah,
it's an entirely separate thing on your vehicle.
That's true.
Now, I found this interesting for a game. I did not know that Chutes and Ladders is referred to in the UK as Snakes and Ladders.
Yeah, do you not have snakes on yours?
No, we call it Chutes and Ladders.
You don't have snakes on your Snakes and Ladders. Well,
no, they're basically chutes, like little slides.
Well, they're snakes and so this explains the difference in name. You slide down the snake. Obviously, why wouldn't you?
I don't know. We call it Chutes and Ladders. That one actually, I was rather surprised to see. I was like, oh,
snakes were considered a bit too much for the 5-year-old crowd.
No, scary creatures.
Oh, here's one I thought was interesting, because this one we use interchangeably here in the U.S. Mm-hmm. We'll use the term faucet and tap virtually interchangeably.
Oh, okay. I didn't think you used tap much at all. Hence, I assumed you wouldn't understand what we're talking about. But
the tap's for beer.
Well, you can say something's on tap, but you'll say, sometimes you, well, at least where I'm from, we'll say, make sure you turn on the faucet because it's going to get cold tonight. Or we'll just say, turn on the tap, let the water go. But I mean, I've grown up around places we use those terms interchangeably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I found this interesting. So you have the term freshman, but you use the term second-year student for sophomore.
We don't tend to use freshmen in this country. What do we call them? We call it freshers or first year.
Oh, freshers. That's what he said. Freshers.
Yeah. It's close, but it's not quite the same. Yeah.
I've had to actually have people explain to me. They're like, I was in grade so-and-so. I'm like, they were like, or however it's put, we say grades. I forgot what you guys said over there.
They call them year, but I mean, so it'd be year 7, year 8, year 9. I mean, once you've hit secondary school, anyway. And again,
I found now this one I could. Now this was the number one he had on this list for this one. In America, we call them bangs. You call them fringe.
Oh yeah. Bangs really confused the hell out of me. What the hell is a bang? Oh, it's just a fringe. Okay, it's like something you've invented that's brand new. No, we've had fringes.
Yeah,
for
we
a
use the
long
term
time.
fringe for completely different. We don't use the term fringe for hair. We use it for a bunch of other things. But that one threw me for a loop. I'm like, fringe? How do you get fringe out of
I mean, for good,
this
you had a
stuff?
TV series called Fringe. I mean, you must have known it's stuff on the edge, and it's the edge of your hair.
Ah, okay, I can see that making sense. But anyway, if
Yeah.
you're interested in this, if you want to see this guy's called Eat, Sleep, Dream English, and I found some of his stuff rather entertaining.
I will check it out. Does that sound funny?
Well, wow. Well, at least we have ended up on a good point. I think I'm going to go ahead and end the stream now. I do want to thank everybody for joining me today.
You're very welcome.
I'll be streaming again soon. Thank you so much. Have a good day, and see you all soon.